guys, because of time, I'm not going to be able to get into my presentation too much, but I will give you a brief story of my history. Okay, at an early age of 14, I started using alcohol at first. Because why? Because I wanted to be in the in crowd. I wanted to be popular. I wanted to be around the older guys, and I wanted to be around where the girls were. So this is a choice that I made at an early age, not knowing that it was going to even take me further into more harder, more dangerous type of destructive lifestyles. From there, guys, everybody might think, man, oh, alcohol, dude, you're crazy, dude. Oh. You know, but honestly, guys, that's where it only began. And how many of you guys know that alcohol is a gateway drug? And that's where it started. And it eventually got me into using marijuana, smoking weed, and I had gotten so addicted to it that I was using it daily. I couldn't do anything without it. I couldn't go anywhere without it. I couldn't play ball without it. I couldn't go to the mall without it. I couldn't go watch movies without it, you know. I couldn't go and do anything that sometimes you guys do it without having to be high. And I had to be high all the time. I had to continuously always think of where I was going to get my next high, where I was going to get my weed, or whatever it may have been. And that right there is also, how many of you guys know that weed is also a gateway drug? Alcohol and weed are just welcome mats, young people. They're just welcome mats to more harder and more dangerous things in our lives. And that's where I was. Eventually from there, because of the lifestyle I was leading, I started hanging out with individuals like myself, and eventually went into methamphetamine. I started using speed. I started not only smoking it, sniffing it, but I also even injected it. And these are things that I was doing at an early age. And because of these choices I was making at an early age, young people, I got kicked out of high school in my sophomore year, got sent to a continuation school. They didn't want nothing to do with me there. Got kicked out of there. They sent me to what you guys may know as a charter school. Mine was a computer school, and they thought, well, maybe someday or some way you can get some credits, and someday you'll be able to graduate. Well, guys, they kicked me out of there. You're looking at an individual right now that has no high school diploma because of the wrong choices I was making at an early age. And the people I was hanging out with, all we cared about was getting high and living that destructive lifestyle. I eventually went into joining a gang, and from there, I remember one time I was at my friend's house, and the younger homies went out and tagged up a rival gang member's house. That rival gang, he retaliated, and we met him out in the street of my friend's house. They retaliated, and we went out and we fought with them out in the street. And I remember we came back inside, we fought with them, we came back inside, and we were all high-fiving each other, you know, saying how good we did and how, you know, what we did. You know, I punched them here and I kicked them there, when, you know, really nobody probably even did anything, you know. And that's what took place. And I remember going in the house, and the guy who lived at this house had gotten cut here, somewhere or another, with a knife or a bottle or something. And I remember him holding himself like this, and he comes in and he's there, and he's just like in pain. We're asking him, "Are you okay? Are you okay? What's wrong? Is everything okay?" And what they did is he sat down, and as they sat down and he leaned over like this, it was like a gallon of water or a gallon of milk being poured out. That's the way the blood came out of him. And he died right there in front of me, in his own living room, in front of his own mom. Consequence that I have to live with in my mind. Something I have to deal with in my mind. Something I have to think about all the time. Because of the choices I was making at an early age. Not only that, guys, I told you I got into meth, and I got into meth really hard. And I can tell you tons of different stories, but one of the stories is the consequence of that is I overdosed at 20 years old. And I remember being in that emergency room and just crying. And I had been through the gunshots, I had been through the stabbings, I had been through all these different things, guys, but I had never been so scared in my life like I was at that time in the emergency room. I remember being in the emergency room, and I'm laying there, and they're shooting me up with all these different things to lower down my heart rate, because I remember my heart just pounding. I can remember seeing it actually moving my shirt. And the doctor said that at any time, I could actually go into cardiac arrest. And I remember crying there and just praying and just asking, man, if you just let me live, I'll do anything I can. I'll do anything I would, you want me to do, whatever it may be. Well, guys, as you can see, I lived. And now I'm going out. And I'm actually talking to individuals and telling individuals about my life and trying to steer people straight, trying to steer them so that they don't have to make the wrong choices and the same choices that I made. So maybe you won't have to have the same consequences. Guys, I'm 37 years old and I'm still dealing with things in my life. I still deal with, I have high blood pressure that I have to take medication for. I have chronic anxiety. I have bouts of depression. I deal with insomnia at times. For the last couple of weeks, I've been sleeping okay, But because of different things I'm doing in my life so that I can sleep. But these are some of the things that I'm dealing with. Some of the things I'm going through. Not only that, guys, I have 5 children. You might say, man, you ain't got no TVs, dude. Yeah, I probably don't. I got 5 children. I got a 19-year-old, a 16-year-old, a 14-year-old, a 13-year-old, and an 8-year-old. And I would have had one more. But because of the stuff that I was in my system, my young son, Mark, at 3 months old, died from his heart not developing right. It's crazy because I have to live with that in my mind, thinking, man, if I wouldn't have done what I did, maybe my son would be alive right now. I remember waking up one morning, man, and he had been up all night crying, and my wife saying, hey, he's been up all night, let's take him to the emergency room and see what's going on. Thinking we were just going to go there and get him some medication, he'll be fine, we'll come back home. Not knowing that we were going to get there, and in my arms, he goes into cardiac arrest and passes away. Now, I don't know if anybody of you guys, even you tough guys, want to act like that or act like you can handle something like that. If you're having your own son pass away in your arms, I doubt that, guys. I have to live with that in my mind. I have to live with that in my own mind, and it deals with it and deals with it. Man, thank you, man. If I wouldn't have done what I did, would my son still be alive? Would he be right now 15 years old?